China is often described as crony capitalism or state capitalism. I think these two kinds of adjectives are both inaccurate and even misleading, because both terms see China's economic phenomenon as a variant of capitalism. But the truth is that the eccentricity of the past 30 years or so in China cannot be guided by the logic of capital, and only the logic of power can explain them. So in 2011, I coined a new word, the Powerism, in my book. The core feature of the Powerism is that the so-called capital in the West is only an attribute of power in China, while under capitalism, power is only the attribute of capital. Use the metaphor of entity and clone, for example. In the capitalism, capital is the entity and power is the clone. However, in the Powerism, power is the entity, and capital is the clone. It is so clear to explain the phenomenon of Chinese economy with the Powerism. For example, the ups and downs of China's stock market are in fact mostly determined by the political power. If we do not understand the power struggle of the CCP Central Committee and the power of its affiliated factions to which it belongs, it is impossible to understand the stock market. In China, for example, there is no such thing as what Western economics calls real estate. The marketability of real estate is based on the assumption that it has property rights. However, China's real estate has no property rights, only the right to use a certain number of years. Therefore, the nature of Chinese real estate is more like long-term debt, only a kind of financial products which depend on the credit of power, not hardware assets. Under the Powerism, all the asset values in China belong to the rulers. If the power hand over, the value will be hand over also. That is why the infighting in the Communist Party is so bloody, and why private entrepreneurs have the opportunity to convert temporarily owned assets into cash and flee to capitalist countries. Not only the private enterprise money flees, even the state-owned enterprise operator. The power struggle defeats also the money flees. Even the authority personnel must reserve the path of money escape for their future possible power collapse. The recent spate of struggles, arrests and deaths of Chinese power figures and tycoons can be traced to this. Most of the Western financial crises under capitalism are derived from the excessive spread of financial commodities and the broken chain of debt. Once the financial crisis occurs in China under the Powerism, it must arise from the power to convert the assets into capital and then hollowed out the economic foundation.